The Dragon Ball Legends 4-year anniversary has been, let's just say, a little lackluster. I'm not the first to say it, and I won't be the last. Now, I think there's a good reason for this. It is obviously the most unconventional anniversary we've had to date, even dating back all the way to the first anniversary where they did celebrations vastly different than they do today. Now, I think we all know the reason for that, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Right now, though, when was the last time an anniversary came out part 1 and we only had 2 new units? Even first anniversary, we had like 5 new sparkings, including the Legends Limited Super Vegito. Year 2, same thing, tons of new SPs. Year 3, we got 6 new SPs, right? We had 2 new LFs and 4 side banner SPs. Then you get to 4-year anniversary part 1 and you have UI Goku, which is like pin ultimate hype. Very few things can top that. Like maybe a Vegito Blue, maybe a Gogeta Blue, but like that's pretty peak. And then an SP Vegeta, and then that's it. But don't be like them by dropping the ball on that like button and that red sub button. I think most of you know what I'm going to say here, but you might be tired of hearing it. It's just facts. Dragon Ball Superheroes delay affected these gacha games so much more than they probably affect any of the other games, because these gacha games are very methodical with the way they release things, and there's always a line that they have to sort of tread where it's too much all at once. They obviously don't want to bombard you with too many things, because then it can create major imbalances, can cause a bad taste in the consumer's mouth. Like there's just so much stuff that can go wrong if they just start throwing all this stuff at you. And the super unfortunate thing, even more so for Legends than say Dokkan, is that Dragon Ball Superheroes supposed to come out in April, got pushed back into the middle of their anniversary, less than 2 weeks after the beginning of their anniversary. And of course, all these games want to build on the hype of a new film. This is the first new anything within the Dragon Ball universe that's animated, not including manga, of course, for the last over 3 years. Dragon Ball Super Broly released in January of 2019, and Legends still currently being the only thing with the new characters in their game. Gamma 1, Gamma 2, again, Legends, that's it. Dokkan doesn't have it, Fighters, Xenoverse, none of it. Well, Dragon Ball Heroes does, but we don't count that around here, okay? So Legends obviously wants to capture the hype of a new film and release units related to that. Now, my guess is that originally we were probably only going to get 1 new LF during the drop of the film in April, and then boom, surprise, 1 month later, anniversary begins, UI Goku, and then the second LF for the movie dropped then. But now part 2 is approaching. My guess, we're getting 2 brand new LF characters. I think that is the lack of SPs, because I would say at the bare minimum, you would have expected at least LF UI Goku and then 2 banner SPs, right? This is an anniversary and it doesn't really feel like an anniversary because we only got 2 new units. There's only like a few new free-to-play units. Like you go to the events tab and there's just not a lot there. So my assumption is that there's a lot of new events planned around the film, a lot of SPs that are probably related to the film, and just a lot of stuff that they couldn't give us until the film actually releases, because they're being so secretive about this movie. Like it comes out in Japan in just a few days and they've shown off almost nothing. When some of you want to tell me that, yeah, they have, no. Like if you go compile all the trailers together, we've maybe seen total less than like 2 minutes of this movie that's, over an hour and a half, and not even that many. Like the scenes are all within the same sections. Like they even showed off nothing. We don't even know the villain. Like officially, we don't even know the villain of this film. What? So clearly Legends is having to abide by that as well and having to hold off on anything related to the film. So my guess is that there were supposed to be other SPs probably on UI Goku's banner, and then SPs on a crossover banner with Dragon Ball Superhero, and they had to axe all of those until the film actually releases. So to recap, what I thought was LF Androids, their slot that came out in April, was actually going to be a Dragon Ball Superhero character, and then for anniversary we're going to get a second collaborative unit from Dragon Ball Superhero. So now I think we're going to get 2 LFs. Yes, you heard that correctly, 2 LFs during the collaboration with the film, which will also act as sort of a part 2 of the anniversary. And I think we'll see, again, leaks, spoilers if you care, an LF cell of some sort, or a different villain that maybe we just haven't been revealed yet. Something. I think the main villain of this film will be represented in Legends before this week is over, and I think we'll get a new LF Gohan as well. Now, before you start telling me, well, Nano, they can't put them in this soon because we don't even have a global release date technically as the filming of this for Dragon Ball Superhero to spoil all of us. Well, earlier when I mentioned the January release for Dragon Ball Super Broly back in 2019, well, technically the movie released in December of 2018 over in Japan. And you know what happened on December 14th, 2018 in Dragon Ball Legends? Well, we got a purple transforming Super Saiyan Broly. It was technically, before Xenoverse, before Dokkan, before all of it, the first game to get a crossover collaborative unit from Dragon Ball Super Broly. Yes, Dragon Ball Legends did that. Now, at that time, I'm pretty sure we did have a date for Dragon Ball Super Broly, but that was still well over a month before the movie would release anywhere outside of Japan, and Legends still dropped that. So if you're thinking that they won't drop new units that absolutely spoil the global audience of Dragon Ball Super Superhero, you're crazy. They will still do it. So if you're wondering about a date for all of this, I think they're going to do it on the 11th. Seriously, June 11th, because again, just based off the previous stuff, I think this is all happening this weekend. Now that part I could be wrong on. They might still postpone it a little bit longer given how much more secretive they're being about this film over Dragon Ball Super Broly, but I truly believe we have some new LFs and some other new SPs coming very soon. Then that frees up some side banner SPs. I could easily see us getting 4 new SPs from this. The obvious here would be Piccolo. Piccolo could also be the other LF. It could be an LF Piccolo and an LF Gohan, but I think you can let me know down below what you think. They'll lean more towards letting Piccolo be an SP, letting Gohan be an LF, and letting the main villain, also being a massive entry into the roster of Dragon Ball Legends, be the LF opposite of a new LF Gohan as well. Then beyond that, a grown-up Gotenks or a duo Goten and Trunks unit that fuses into Gotenks, but something somewhere involved with grown-up Goten and Trunks and a grown-up Gotenks, I think will also be some of the side banner SPs. And we know basically nothing as to what Goku, Vegeta, and Broly are doing in this film, and I absolutely think all 3 of them are massive candidates for a new SP in Dragon Ball Legends. So I think that is what's coming for part 2 of Dragon Ball Legends. And then if you fast forward just like a week and a half later, we'll get a part 3, which will wrap up the anniversary. Will probably introduce us to a new Ultra. Now, my guess is we might actually get 2. We might get a free-to-play one because last year during the finale of the anniversary, they released the Ultra Vegeta that also came with an LF Gohan. I think this year we will see a summonable Ultra, and I'm hoping for a free-to-play Ultra as well. My best guess for the summonable side of that would be Ultra Vegito. I do think Vegito shows up somewhere in this anniversary. I still believe that. And if it's not him, then I think it could be Z Broly. And what I'm going to throw a nice little twist in here is that it could be both of them. One of them could be free. Copium, honestly, thinking that a Broly or Vegito are going to be free, but still. Then whichever one is the free one, the opposite of that will be the summonable one. But I am praying and hoping that they do bring us back another free one because we haven't had a free Ultra since Omega released in October of last year. So we're definitely due up for a new free Ultra unit. I know Toshi mentioned back last year that once Omega released, summonable ones would be coming. It would probably be a while before we got a new free one. But what is a better time to drop a new awesome free unit than during an anniversary celebration, of which, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, it doesn't feel like much of one at the moment. And I think all of that, again, being held back by the delay of Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And I think they had a lot planned around this film. And that's why part 1 feels so lackluster. And I'm praying that part 2 and what will most likely be a massive collaboration with Dragon Ball Super Superhero will save the anniversary massively for a lot of people, because even in my eyes, yes, it feels pretty lackluster. So there's my thoughts on what I think is happening in part 2 of this anniversary. I think a new LF Gohan is a given. I think an LF Cell is very likely. And I think everything else I mentioned is highly likely to some extent. So let me know who you think it'll be in part 2 and part 3. Do you think a free-to-play Ultra is going to happen? Summonable Ultra, all of that. And I look forward to seeing how all this unfolds later this week. Bye.